Thank you. Yeah, thanks for joining late. Okay. Sorry for joining late. Just finally we're sorting out that Zoom link. Okay, let me share my screen and we will start. Okay. Yeah. So we'll just a quick recap of last time what we did. Okay. So last time, last class, what we did is we're like going through the high level bit of theory parts of what is the use and all those case, and going through the top commands, top level commands, which will be used very frequently. Okay, and then we jumped into the variable part. We also saw the sorry we also saw the Terraform block, how it is there, required providers, how to lock the version. Okay, and then on the we are currently in the variable block, and in the variables we are looking into different types of variables, because once we know the variables um properly, then we know like how we can pass the input parameters in which way, instead of like having 10 different variables, how can we club them in a map or in an object, okay, or in a set, like which use case, which variables to be used. That is uh, essential. Okay, so the variables are categorized into mainly three categories. Primitive variables, they hold only one single data item, that's it. Okay, either it can be a string or a number or a bool. So boolean is true and false, that's it. Number can be anything in the your number line, minus to 0 and plus side. Okay. String, again, anything enclosed in double quotes. So these are all primitive variables, they only hold one item, that's it. But we will have use cases where we have to store multiple data items. For example, user list or VM list, okay, or subnet names, or something like that. Many places we have to give multiple data items. So then we look to the collection type variables. So there are mainly three types: list, map, and set. We saw last time list. It is kind of our uh, array kind of thing. In the earlier, like in any other language, we can think it like a array, and every data item stored in that list will have a positional element. There is an index position there, which starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, and it goes like that. Okay, and so this is our list, and inside the list we have to pass like what kind of data we are going to store. Okay, again, this has to be of the same data type. So whatever we are storing, they are multiple, that's fine, but everything has to be of the same data type, either string or number or boolean. And it doesn't stop here, you can go into multiple level as well. So for example, variable, uh, so when we say type list, we can go multiple nested level as well. We can go maybe a list of map, or list of one more list as well. Okay, and when we say default, it gives us a template of how our values will be going to be. Okay, so maybe we can say like for the server 01, user 01, server 02, oh sorry, server 01, user 2. So based on our use case, we may need to store something like maybe users of one server and users of the other server. Okay, server 02, server 02. So this is what is, it is a list of list. So list means again a array, a sequential, um, uh, your data is there, and again whatever data we are holding, that also it's a list. Okay, so that is also possible. It doesn't mean that you can hold only one level, you can go multiple uh, as well. You can go nested list in a list and inside that also, but at some level it creates a lot of confusion. So usually in a project, keep it in a one level. Okay, there is no hard and fast rule, but keep it in a way that your program is readable and easy to understand. Okay, so that also matters. So uh, we will see in many of the examples list of maps or map of list, those kind of things. So type list, we are doing map of string. Okay. So this we will see in many other examples in arguments also when we go to registry Terraform IO different types. So you will see many places list of map is there. So what it does, like how again this is a sequential element, but we have a map. So this is our first data item. Okay, in that list. Now second data item will be like that, and we can have multiple keys in that. Okay, so user 0, something like that. And yeah. So user 01. So this is our second data item. So again, this is a position element. This is our index position 0. This is our index position 1. Okay. So in this case, it is a list, but list of what? List of map. Okay. And that map is of string. So we can go multiple levels like that, but just giving you examples. So don't like limit to string or number and all. We can go multiple levels in that way as well. Okay, so wherever you see some use case where maybe NSG rules, for example, you have to save, and you want to save it in a list of different subnets. So if we can save it in this way or in a list way. Okay, so whenever you see the use case, try to keep everything together. Okay, instead of having multiple different variables, it is always good to keep the related things together. Okay. So that was list. And map, again, map, there is no positional element. Okay, so map is kind of a dictionary. In other languages we see dictionary kind of variables. So what that means, it is a key and a value combination. Okay, so for example, this one map of string given some description, and this is our key, this is the value. Okay, and how to access it? Whenever we refer to the variable and on the square bracket we give the key name, it will return us the value, corresponding value. Okay, later today we will see like what is the benefit of this. Okay, we will compare more, we will drill down more into the list and maps. Okay, because many places we tend to use more list, but we will see what are the benefits. Okay, or disadvantages of using which, and what we will see that now. So now coming down to the next variable is set. Okay, so set, the look and feel is exactly like list. So variable type, I'm giving set. Okay. And you see the default, like the type, it exactly looks like list only. Okay, so earlier we have seen, for example, here the list also. So this is also looks like same kind of set. Okay, but what is the difference? Let's see. Let's give something server 01. Okay, so we have a couple of data items here in this set variable, and let's take the output of it. Demo set. Okay. Any other things? So we have only this one. So let's, this is the folder 006, 07. So because we are not connecting to cloud, and also there is no need to do init as such, so I'm just doing directly the plan. So here we see it is giving us all, it returned me all the data items, whatever are there in this variable. Okay, so like how we uh, were doing learning the list. So now let's say I want to print this one. Okay, so any guesses in list how we do that? If we have to print this, the first one, what I have to do, assuming if this is a list.
Position.
Yeah, very good.
Colon zero. Yeah, zero.
Yeah, yeah, lovely. Okay, that's right. Okay, so assuming if this is a list, we would have done like this positional element. So let's try that because the look and feel is exactly like list. So let's see if it will work or not. Okay, so it gave us the error. So what it is telling that elements of a set are identified only by their value. Okay, they are only identified by their value itself. Okay, there is no position element. They don't have any separate index or key, anything to search. Okay, so doesn't make much sense. Okay, for that. So like if you have to search something, you have to search with that same item only. Okay, so and one important thing is whatever data items you are going to store in the set, okay, has to be unique. Server 02. Okay, so let me, so we have now two server 02, and let's print again all the data items. Okay, so what it printed server 01, server 02, 03, and 04. It discarded the duplicate item. Okay, so the best use case of the set, okay, we will find that when you are receiving some data from somewhere, or you are passing some input data, and you don't want the data items to be duplicate. Okay, you want to ignore the duplicates. Okay, or for example, maybe subnet names somewhere. Okay, you are getting the data from somewhere else, so the subnet name has to be unique. Okay, or wherever you feel the data which we are passing to the cloud needs a unique item, so best thing is to convert that to a set. Okay, we will later see how to convert one data type to another, like if you have the data in a list, how to convert that in a set. Okay, so assuming you have a list of 10 values in that, and 2 3 are duplicates, some values are duplicates. Okay, so if we directly pass that to cloud, there are chances that your program will fail later. Okay, because the cloud is expecting that it has, everything has to be unique items. Okay, so in those scenario, what we do is we just convert our list to a set, so that automatically those duplicate items are discarded. Okay, and then whatever data we get, we pass it to the cloud. So that is the best use case of the set. Okay, where we use that. Okay, and any queries on this? In in actual one, like in day to day, we won't be using a lot of set, but more of list and all. But yeah, in some specific scenario, we are going to use set. Okay, we will see those when we encounter. So these all are our collection type of data items. Okay, so now coming to the next one, we have structural type variables. Okay, the collection ones, what was that? We can store multiple data items, but everything has to be of the same type. Okay, but now we will surely have many use cases where we need to store multiple different data items. Okay, maybe for example, if we are going to store some related data items for a VM, it could be the VM name. It is a single data, I think. Okay, single string. Then maybe number of disks. Okay, it is a number. Then maybe list of users, admin users. So it is a list of string. Okay, everything different. Then maybe is backup needed, true or false, something like that. So that is a boolean. So we want to hold all those related data items or values together. Okay, so in those cases, it is not possible with the primitive and collection. Okay, we have to go for the structural type variable. So in the structural type, we have uh, data types in that object and tuple. So let's see the object one. Okay. So in the object, first what we have to do is we have to tell the schema. Schema means what are the value we are going to store. We have to tell it in advance, like what are the things we are going to store. Okay. And how we declare is that variable, whatever name and type in the object, we have to give everything, all the details. Okay. So for example, let's take that. Oh, let's okay. Type equal to object, and here it gives us some template in that, and we have to give the schema here in this case. Okay. So schema means what are the items I'm going to store. Okay. So maybe server underscore name will be a string. Maybe IP address is also a string. Okay. Then admin users, it could be a list of string. Okay. What else? Backup enabled equal to boolean. Okay. So here we are telling you like whatever things we are going to store, that specific value we have to tell in advance. Okay. What else we can go? Yeah, I think that's okay. So yeah. So now we have a couple of different things: string, boolean, and list of string. Okay. W- Surely we cannot store all these in a single, like in the collection data type, because list of string and here string. Okay. So then we have to go for this one. So now once it is done, then we can give the values. Okay. So in the values, it is showing us what are things it is expecting here. So admin users, it is a list of string we have given. So we have to give the admin user names. Backup enabled false. What else? IP address, server name. Okay. So like this way you have to do the look and feel. You can see it is like a map. Okay. The key and value kind of thing. It's still there. The key and value. So this is our key and this is the value. But here different type of values are there in that. Okay. So when we do the output, I got server details. Okay. So when we do the plan, it looks like same kind of structure of a map. Okay, key and value. So this is our key and this is showing all the things, the entire thing it is showing. Now if I want only the admin users to be there, okay, so in that case I have to give the key like how I used to give the key in the map. So I will give here admin underscore users. Okay. Okay, so it is showing me this one. Again, I can give further the position, because now it is a positional element here. Now, for example, if I need this one, so yeah, I can give that. Okay, so we can further store all complicated stuff here in that one variable. Okay, for example, let's say we can even store a map as well. Okay, inside this. So uh, So this is our object data type. And first we have to declare the schema, very important. Okay. We have to tell like whatever you are planning to store different data types, you have to tell it in advance. and then we can pass the values. Okay, and object, it is similar in nature to a map. It is a set of key and value, but each of the values can be a different data type. Okay, it can be a string, list of string, a map. Okay, map of map. Like how complicated you want to go, you can go for. But this is the, like, the logic of, like, the use case of this variable. Okay. uh, Used very commonly across projects, like whenever you want to tend to keep different items, like for example here how we saw, you want to tie everything in a single big variable. Yeah, you can do that. Okay, maybe NSG rules also you can give that, or if you're creating something for a VNet, so you can tie all the details in a single variable. Okay, where the data items can be a map or a list, it doesn't matter. Okay. So as in we go further, we do real case examples, and slowly we'll start that. So then we will see like which use cases are there. Okay. So now what will happen if we are not using this? Maybe you're thinking, okay, this very complex looks like that, and so you have to again go different, either go for map. Okay, for these two things, you can go for map. This one, maybe you can go for a one other variable, and this one another variable. So instead of like three variables, yeah, everything is clubbed in a one single variable. Okay. So whenever you are changing or something, you know where to change for in one variable itself. Okay, so that's why this variable is very, it gets very handy. The map and objects, these are very commonly used. Okay. So now coming down to our final variable, final data type, it is a tuple. Okay. Similar to the, you can say, our list look and feel is exactly like the list. Okay. But with a slight twist in that. So let's see. Variable demo. Okay. So similarly, how in object, variable, in this object we told the schema in advance. Similarly here also we have to tell the schema in advance. Okay. But it is, the look and feel is like a list. Okay, instead of a map, here instead of a map kind of key and value, in the tuple it is a list. Okay, so whatever you're storing, you have to tell the schema in advance. String, maybe list of string, and number. Just a minute. Yeah, sorry about that. So like how we did the in object, we have to tell the schema in advance, but in object, your schema looks like a map, key and value. Here it is not a key and value. It is look is like a list. But in the list, whatever data items you are going to store, you have to tell in advance. Okay, like what are data items you are going to store, what type, like that. So here we are storing in this example many different data types. One boolean, okay, string, list of string, number, and another string. So when we do the default, it will give us some template. So boolean, maybe we are going for to true. The string user 01. Uh, like whatever, you have to see where which use case kind of is there. Number. Okay. So here we are storing again different things. Again, this is a positional. It has got a positional element. Okay, it is not like set. So we can get the positional element of it. Yes. So when we do directly, just oh, okay, okay. So it is showing the whole thing here. Okay. And all the items it is showing in that. But in case if we need the this item maybe, so again this is index position 0, this is index position 1. Okay, similar it is going. Yeah. So exactly look and feel everything is like a list, but in how the list can store only one data type. Okay, it can store multiple, that's fine. It can store one data type, but here it can store multiple different data types. Okay, so for example, here we saw Boolean, string, a list of string, a number, okay, and a string again. We can even store a map also. Okay, everything is allowed in that. Okay. Any queries in this one? Again, this is not a very common one. We will see like in some scenarios we are going to use. Okay, but earlier itself we have so many other variables that we never have to go to this level. Okay, tuple. Let me see the set object tuple. Okay, so these are also same, similar in nature to a list. It is an index set of values where each value can be of a different type. Okay, so these are all the variables, everything. Okay, and yeah, so now sensitive data. Yeah, yeah. So next important topic is how to pass the input variables. Okay, so uh, okay, just before that anyway, this sensitive data, how to handle that in this variable. So if you feel you are storing some password or something like that. Okay, so what you can do is you can there is a argument here called sensitive. Okay, it is a here you can see it is an optional argument and it is a boolean true or false. So you can declare it either it is a sensitive true or it is false. Okay, so when we are creating some variable, marking some variable as sensitive, we have to declare in here as well in the output also sensitive is true. Okay, so what it does is it won't print out those values which could have binary which could have by chance come in the logs and all that. Okay, many places when we run it in automated things in a pipeline and all, many times a lot of output can be printed by mistake, okay, in the logs, and someone can log skim it and find out those values and all. So if you mark it sensitive, it won't be printed, okay, in that. Okay. So it's a very primitive way of security. It is not a hard and fast. It is not very efficient way, but at least something is there to not show in the logs or in our outputs. Okay. But down the line, we will see what are the best practices, how to keep your secure values and how to pass it as well. Just a minute. So yeah, you can definitely use the sensitive values wherever you feel that the data uh, can be a sensitive type. Maybe use cases are DB username, DB password, okay, or user password, something like that. Those kind of things, okay. So those things you can mark it as sensitive. Okay. So next, coming to the next important topic is how to pass the variables. Okay, how to pass the values in the variables. And so currently, every time whenever we are doing the example, till now we are passing the default values here. Okay, but this is not the case. The data can come by many other means. Okay, through from some file. Okay, or maybe from environment variables and all that. So we will see now how many ways are there, and if there are many ways, so then there is a precedence also is there in picture. Okay. So for example, uh, there is a variable and the default variable is passed in the variable itself, but at the same time the value is coming from the other way. Okay, maybe from a environment variable or something. So which the value get chosen? Okay, which will be the winner? We have to see. Okay, so very important topic in real um, projects and all. It's a very common use case. Okay. So let's see, and we will do two topics here in parallelly. So one is how to pass the things through multiple means, and next is how what is the sequence precedence is there. Okay. So let's do that. Let's me comment this whatever we have done till now. And let me create one folder of today's date, 10/7/24. Okay. So we have a variable called fruit. Okay. And the fruit variable is string. Okay. And let's set the default to apple. Okay. So what oh, where am I? 10/07. Oh, sorry, I did not do a output block. Output block. Okay. So what do you expect when you do the Terraform plan? It should print fruit equal to apple. Okay. So this is the value which is set. Okay. So this is our now lowest precedence. Okay. So now let's see what are the other ways to pass the same value. Okay. So the next little bit higher precedence is if there is an environment variable with the name tf underscore var underscore. Okay. So let's set an environment variable by that name. It should be preceding with this capital letter, and after that the variable name will be there. Okay. So let's see. So how to set that variable? Export the variable name. So our variable name is fruit. So what I'm doing, tf underscore var underscore fruit equal to mango. Let's say I've set this variable. Okay. So let's see how is our variable there or not. Echo, how to check the variable? Echo dollar. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it is showing me this variable. Okay. So now let's do a Terraform plan again. Here we are declaring it Apple. Okay. And we have a environment variable now by that same tf underscore var underscore fruit equal to apple. So let's do a Terraform plan. So it is now showing me mango. Okay, our fruit output is now it's mango. Even though we declared it here apple, but because this is of lower precedence now, this got within these two, this party one, and it is now showing that. Okay, whatever is there. So in real projects, we will see that when we are using Terraform Enterprise, okay, or Terraform Cloud and all. So in those we have works concept of workspaces where you keep all the state file there. So in those state files, if you have to declare some variable, we have to precede that. Okay, so very commonly used in Terraform Enterprise in organizations or cloud and all. Okay, not very common if you are using our open source and all, but yeah, in enterprise and all, it's widely used. Okay, tf underscore var underscore. So we can pass the data through this way. Okay, externally. So now the next one is placing a terraform.tfvars or terraform.tfvars.json in the same directory in the configuration. So let's create one more file in the same folder. The name will be terraform.tfvars. Okay, so this is a special file. The name has to be like that, terraform.tfvars or tfvars.json, but we are using HCL, so we'll go for this tfvars. So in this, again, it is a key value file kind of thing. So here I'm just saying fruit equal to grapes. Okay. So this is another way of passing your data. Okay, so in a project, when in an environment you are creating many resources and all, so instead of hard coding those values here, just create one more file called terraform.tfvars, and you can declare everything here. Okay, maybe VM name, okay, or IP address, whatever you want to declare, you just declare it in a key value pair like that. That's it. It is a normal text file. Okay. So now when we do a Terraform plan, we have three places now. The same value is declaring. Our variable name is fruit. One value we are passing here, apple. Second value we are passing from our this tf var environment variable. And now third value we are passing through this way. Okay, so this is another way how we can pass. Now let's see who will win the battle. Okay, so this one now terraform.tfvars, it is of highest precedence among these three till now whatever we have discussed. Okay, so yeah, so this is another way to pass the variable. Okay, so we will notice that in actual projects and all, this is not very widely used in production as such. Okay, because this is a well-known file. So in many places when you create a GitHub repository, okay, and you choose the default git ignore file. So there is a file called git ignore. Like those files, whatever are there in the git ignore won't be going into your repo. So in the best practices of the repo in the git ignore, you will see that this file is also there. Okay, um, so that's why it is not very widely used, because it's a well-known file, and the hackers and all, like whoever is there, bad guys, they can try to see the data within these files. Okay, but yeah, so this is a way where we can pass the values. Okay. And the next one is placing a file ending with .auto.tfvars or .auto.tfvars.json in the same directory. Okay, so let's create another folder, sorry, another file, any file name, but ending with .auto.tfvars. Okay, so let's create maybe uh, project. Okay, project.auto.tfvars. So here I have fruit. Now here I have declared melon. Okay, we have many places now. We are passing the variable. The default one, it's in the variable block itself. It's apple. Here we are passing as mango. In this file, something different is there. TF it is grapes, and now here this is melon. Okay, and how to pass that? So in the Terraform TF, in your Terraform command line, when we do the Terraform plan or apply, we have to pass the value with dash var file equal to whatever is there. Okay, so Terraform plan dash var dash file equal to, what is our file name, project dot auto dot. Okay, so finally this one is the higher precedence among all these four ways. So we are seeing here multiple ways, and at the same time we are looking into the precedence as well. So this is one more way where we can pass the our values. Okay, and this is again pretty commonly used in projects. So why they use that? Because what they do is they create multiple kind of these kind of files for each environment. Okay, so maybe for development dev.auto.tfvars, uat.auto.tfvars, okay, or production or stage like that. And you define different values. Maybe for development you are going um If you are creating Azure web app, maybe you are going for a standard SKU. Okay, but for a production, you are maybe go for a premium P1, V2 or something like that. Okay, maybe for UAT some different SKU. Okay, so those all things you can declare it here, but your Terraform code will be same. Okay, it will be a one single code, that's it, which can be applied to all the environments, but the values will be differing based on for each environment. Okay, and based on the environment which you are going to run, you will just pass this as a argument. Okay, so very commonly used in the projects, and these values are passed from the pipeline. Okay, either through the GitHub Actions or through the Azure DevOps pipeline. So you declare the environment files in the pipeline part tool, whatever is there, and you pass the values. Okay, so it will do the action for that specific environment. So now next is using the dash var dash file flag with the path to a file containing the key value pair. Okay, so here uh, what we are doing, any file name. Okay, so without auto.devops, any file name. Okay, so let's say I want to name it dev dot properties. Okay, something like that. Okay, so here, okay, so here I've declared orange. So uh, is it in the same folder? No. Yeah. So we have one more file now, dev.properties. Okay, it can be any file name, whatever is there. And in the same way, like how we are declaring here, we are declaring the values here in this case. And here we have declared it. So it is saying now how to take that file dash var dash file. Okay. So dash var dash file equal to dev dot dash var dash file equal to var dot properties. Yes. So here you see now this got the more higher precedence in this than the auto.tf vars. Okay, so now our fruit value it is showing as orange. Okay, even though we specified it many places, environment variables different, but this finally one. Okay, so this is one more way to pass that. Okay, it is also used in many projects. If they have custom file name or something like that in the system, then yeah, you can go with this var file. And similarly, from the pipeline, you pass this value. And the next one is sending the value itself from the command line using the dash var. Okay, so this is also pretty common in that. Okay, and where many places where you are passing your SPN key, secret, all those things, you can pass it from here as well. Okay, so these are not stored in your kind of in the file, in the code itself, but you're passing it externally. Okay, so how dash var equal to uh, dash var equal to fruit equal to I think grapes already declared. Oh, banana. Yeah. So now here I'm sending the variable itself directly from the command line. Okay, dash var equal to like that. Okay, and finally this value one. Okay, we even though we are passing it from many other ways, so this is the highest precedence. When we pass the variable itself from the CLI from the command line, that is the highest precedence. Okay. And this is the same sequence whatever we did from the precedence from low to high. Okay, so the lowest one is if we have declared it on the variable in the variable itself. The next one tf var, again, yeah, widely used. When we have an environment variable, uh, through that we can do. Okay, and yeah, this kind of thing. So TF var, you have to append, you have to prepend on your variable name, and you have to declare an environment variable like that. Okay, so that is the second precedence. Again, this is commonly used. Next one we saw, placing a terraform.tf vars. Yeah, it is used, but many places it is rejected in the what we say in the git ignore file. So just check if you are using a standard git ignore file or hardened git ignore file, because many times what happens is whenever you are coding, okay, so there will be policies, or in your organization there will be security teams will be there, or some team will be there which enforces the policies. Okay, so they may block certain well-known files and all. So maybe in that case you won't be able to use that. Okay, so if you're able to use, yeah, that's fine. So this is another way how we can pass the your values. And next is any file name ending with .auto.tf vars. Okay, in the same folder it has to be there, you can pass the values. Okay, again, this is also very commonly used because you can have many different environment file names in that. Okay, but that flexibility is not there in terraform.tf. You can have only one file name, that's it, terraform.tf. But here you can have many names. Okay, maybe a dev.auto.tf vars, uat.auto.tf vars. Okay, production.auto.tf vars, like that. Different files with same key but different values. Okay, so as I given the example, we will see later down the line when we go through the workspace and all that, how this way we can pass. And your Terraform code will be only one. Okay, so there is no duplication for each environment. It will be one single piece of code which you are going to apply on each environment. Okay, on a different resource completely based on the values defined on that file. Okay, so very commonly used in projects. And next is any file name and send it using dash var dash file. Okay, it is also used, but I've not seen that too common in projects. Okay, but yeah, wherever you can have, if you have specific naming convention and all, and you don't want to use Terraform related, you can go for that. Okay, dev dot properties maybe, or dev dot config, uat dot config, prod dot config, any naming like that. Okay, and pass that value from the CLI, from the Terraform command using var dash file. Give the file name. So this is higher precedence than the earlier. Finally, the var file dash var argument, you pass the your variable and the value. So that will be the final. Okay. Again, the last one also very commonly used. This one very commonly used, I've seen. The third one very commonly used. This is also commonly used in actual ones. Okay. And yeah, definitely you go for this one as well. Wherever you feel that okay, you want to hard code some maybe value which you feel that okay, that's it's fine to fix the value here. Yeah, you can go for that. And let's say there are, you have not passed the value at all from anywhere. Okay, so what it does at that time, it will prompt us. Okay, so let's say we have one item called, so I have now a variable called veg, Terraform plan when I'm saying. So it is asking me, okay, because it doesn't, Terraform tries to see all that, if maybe anywhere it would have passed, but it doesn't see anywhere. And finally it falls down to prompting that to the console. Okay, so if you have not declared anything, it will, your program will stuck there and wait. Okay, so in a pipeline and all scenarios, we don't want that, because mostly a lot of things will be unattended and all. So we try to avoid this thing. Okay, so what's the 9:40 around time, right? Okay, I think maybe today we'll close it here. So we covered, this is also one of the important topic, how to pass the variables and all. Okay, so let's close it here and we'll continue again tomorrow. Okay, so we will see little bit of more use cases now. We will go through the resource block and we will see more use case of the variables. Okay, gradually, how to use which variable type and all in that. Okay, so I think that's all for today. Any queries in any of the points which we did? I will send the files post this call.
Yesterday I missed the class, last class. I'll go through and having some notes.
Okay, Mahendra, sorry, I couldn't hear that clearly. But yeah, if any doubt is there, just ping that in the WhatsApp as well. Okay, and slowly we will start doing more of the kind of the exciting cases which you want. You're waiting for that, right? So yeah, and our main aim is also to see which variable, how till now whatever we have learned, how to use that in the resource block and all. Okay. So tomorrow's class we will see some of the meta arguments, how to do multiple one count and for each. Okay, very important, used everywhere. Like you will see in most of the code, you will find that. Okay, so we will see that tomorrow. And if the time permits tomorrow, we will start couple of resource block. Okay, that's all for today then. Okay, we'll see tomorrow. Thank
Okay,
you all.
thank you.
Bye bye.